that during our interview segment as we of course, coming right away. We're going to be looking at the new IG and the challenges of policing in Nigeria. And of course, I'll take you through the Inspector General of Police, abbreviated as IGP, is the head of Nigeria Police Force and the most senior in the police ranking office. And of course, the pioneer IG is Lewis Edeth, and the current acting IGP is Tunji Disu. And as the new Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, steps into the leadership of the Nigerian police at a critical moment in the country's internal security trajectory. Of course, Nigeria finds it once again at a pivotal junction and its security journey. Public confidence in law enforcement has been strained by years of allegations ranging from abuse of power to inadequate response to crime, amongst others. All right, of course, this morning we have Mr. Badijoko here in the studio, Sumbo Badijoko with us in the studio. He's a social commentator and a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the program this morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning,
I'd like us to look at the incident that brought about the new IGP. Suddenly, or the new acting IGP, suddenly on Monday there were reports that he was summoned to the villa, and a few hours, a day or two after it, we started hearing rumors of handing over, the immediate past IGP, and then the new one, Tunji Disu, was announced. Let's look at the events that brought about his emergence. Don't forget that the previous IGP was supposed to have retired, but somehow his tenure was elongated by what some school of thought call interest at the helms of affairs. What do you think about the whole scenario?
One thing is that when there will be a change in leadership, there will be development that will lead to it. So that's the way I feel the whole thing. Though IGP Egbetukun has had his own tenure filled with controversies, surrounding the retirement and why he had to be kept in office, where there are brilliant young officers waiting in the ranks who can do better. Yes, it is interest. He was said to have been with the president right back when he was governor of Lagos State. And being new in office, the office of the IGP is not someone you just put just anyhow person there, especially holding on to the fact that in Nigeria, there's still a big question mark on the professionalism of the Nigerian police. So definitely every president who wants an IGP they can trust to guarantee security and not compromise things for them. So that's why I believe he had to be kept in office. But the controversy there was that the law that now kept him in office was signed in secrecy. And that was why the likes of Omo Yelesho were had to be referring to him as an illegal IGP. And of course, we knew all the controversy that followed that. He was able to survive 2 years. But now he's buying out. And the new IGP is the one that may be the beneficiary of the new law because he's also due for retirement in April. We wouldn't know what will now happen to him because he's still acting. We don't know how long it will take the Senate and the Police Council to confirm his appointments. And if that would be before his retirement, or it's just a placeholder for the real IGP that will be less controversial. So we wouldn't know what will happen until the Senate do their confirmation.
All right. So now you've spoken about the confusing parts, really, because, the age is telling. And, people are asking the question about how long it will last. Remember that it's looking like a merry-go-round at this point in time. But isn't this pointing a little bit towards the political inclination that we are building up to now, ahead of 2027?
Going by the intense politicking that is currently going on, we could say so. Especially, for now, every appointment the president makes will be scrutinized by not just the Nigerian people, but mostly by the opposition. Within the police force, the appointment seems to be a welcome development. I don't know what informed the popularity of Disu among the ranks of the police. They seem to like his appointment. But the problem now is, does he have the time to really serve as IGP? And what are the qualities they have seen in him, which the president too may have seen? So those are things. And does the immediate past IG have has a hand in his appointment? Because somehow, when an outgoing appointee is a bit loyal, but is constrained by the law to continue serving, he may be the one recommending. I think that happened in the military, though not confirmed. We were told that the late Chief of Army Staff was actually the one that recommended his successor, who is now the Chief of Defense Staff. So it could happen like that. So we don't know what relationship Egbetokun has with Disu, and if Egbetokun actually has an involvement in his nomination. But one thing is that there's nothing secret in politics. Definitely if that happened, in the next future we'll be getting that information.
Why I'm asking that is because we've seen that the moves for state policing have now, hastened. We're seeing urgent calls now for the legal framework to be sorted as quickly as possible so that we can move further to get state policing, something that people have been crying about long ago. We know about his time, Olatunji Disu's time, as Lagos State Head of Rapid Response Services. We know what he's done before now, and I know that I've seen a lot of people mentioning that he's a street smart police officer and all of that. But then, in the height of the insecurity that we are presently facing, with the political sphere that we have presently, what are those challenges that will be facing him, aside the state policing issues?
He has enormous. But let me quickly speak to the state policing. That is not going to materialize in the next 2 years.
But they're working for the legalities and all that.
How long will that take? Is it rocket science? The answer is no. It is the political will that is not yet there. The moment that is up, then within a few months, we'll have state police. Because one, the governors are divided on the issue. And without their involvement, we can't have it. Because state police means they are the ones that will be in charge. They have to fund it 100%. So, and they are divided on the topic. Some are saying they couldn't fund it. Some are saying they don't really need it. Some are comfortable with the current arrangement. So these are issues that is affecting the establishment of state police. And don't forget, it's a constitutional amendment issue. So these are things, and constitutional amendment is not something that the lawmakers will do overnight. It will take some process, which will take a while. So now to the challenges. What he has to face are the challenges that the Nigerian police force are currently facing. One, they do not have enough personnel. Considering our population, their number is supposed to be around 5 million. But can the state afford it? The answer is no. The question of welfare, their salaries is not encouraging. And if you want to take them off the road from collecting bribes, you need to do something about that. Kitting, equipment, all these are challenges that they are facing. Do you know that police officers kit themselves? They buy their uniforms. Equipment, you only have AK-47. Mostly, that's what they carry about. Meanwhile, the policemen on the street are not supposed to be carrying that. They're supposed to be with just pistol, a revolver, stuck to their belt, or mostly baiting. Thank God for the governors who are giving them utility vehicles. The federal government that actually is responsible for this police, when was the last time they provide utility vehicles for these officers? It is always the state. I know that of Oyo State. Every vehicle they use now as utility was provided by this administration of Governor Makinde. So you now have questions. Now we're not even mentioning offices. How is the police stations like? How do they look like? What's the condition there? I'm not talking about where they sleep. The police barrack, what's the condition in those places? So when you have officers and you expect them to enforce law, combat crime, investigate, and you maintain law and order, and you are subjecting them to a prison-like condition. Of course, you know what we are currently having is what we will get. And why is all this thing so difficult? Too many administrative bottlenecks. We have in the Constitution the Police Council. Though that one is limited to the some nomination of who becomes the IGP. But then you have the Police Service Commission, who is supposed to be in charge of all this welfare and salaries and emoluments. We also have the Ministry of Police Affairs, with two ministers, the substantive and the Minister of State. And then you have the Office of the Inspector General itself. So when you look at all of this, there's always clashes of interest, confusion in terms of who is supposed to be in charge of this and that. And that's why at the end of the day, it is the ordinary police doing the rank and file, especially inspector rank down, that suffers. And these are the people that actually do most of the jobs. So these are issues that IGP Disu, if it's confirmed, will have to combat with. I know he cannot do it. He doesn't have enough time to be able to solve all those problems. There are some problems that he cannot solve. It is constitutional amendment that will solve it. Some, the president or the executive arm can solve that. For instance, you don't need a minister of police affairs when you already have the Police Service Commission. Do you understand? Because that is a whole ministry. Are the people working there police officers? So what is now their business to be doing paperwork for police when they are also professionals in handling paperwork? They investigate crimes. So these are issues that are facing the police service that the IGP will have to confront with. And if you ask me honestly, he cannot do much because it's not the only person that can fix the problem.
Okay, I'd like to take you back a little.
Okay.
So, of course, according to some reports, or let me say, profile of the new IGP, we see there that he was aide-de-camp to the former governor of Lagos State. You know, this was aide-de-camp to former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He was thereafter deployed to the Ogun State Police Command to serve as Divisional Police Officer, DPO, in charge of Agoiwe, where he performed excellently well in the area of fighting all sorts of criminal activities, including cultism. He subsequently led the Nigerian police contingent on African Union mission in Sudan to quell the crisis in the war-torn Darfur in 2005, where he equally discharged his duty with commendable passion, professionalism that brought honor and glory to Nigeria. Of course, soon after, he was elevated to a new rank as the Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP, and was Deputy Head of Criminal Investigation Department of Rivers State Police Command, where he is transferred to Lagos State Command and subsequently deployed as the Commander in charge of Rapid Response Squad. Of course, a position the now ex-IGP Egbetokun held from 2005 to 2007. ACP Disu took over the RRS commander on 13th of June 2015 until his elevation to the rank of Deputy Commissioner of Police. On 10th April 2019, he was reappointed to the next day, a position he held until 2020 when he was redeployed to the Force Headquarters Abuja at the Department of Operations. Disu replaced now suspended ACP Abba Kyari in August 2021 as Commander Police Intelligence Response Team, following the later alleged link with convicted fraud Rahman Abba, aka Oshpopi. He was subsequently elevated to Commissioner of Police in April 2023. He has also attended different professional bodies. He's a member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, Nigeria, Institute of Public Relations, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. Disu became judoka in 1986 and is a third Dan black belter. He won 2 gold medals at the National Sport Festival in Bauchi in 1990. He is a recipient of 2 gold medals. I'm just making you listen to all of this so that we can look at his antecedent and what we might just be waiting for or to see. And of course, He's the chairman of the Police Judo Association and was chairman of Lagos State Judo Association. He was appointed principal staff officer to now ex-IGP Kayode Egbetokun in June 2023 and subsequently Rivers State Commissioner of Police in November 2023 and later FCT Police Commissioner on 7th October 2024, on and on. So if you look at his antecedent, he was always somehow close to Egbetokun when it comes to taking over and all of that. And when you see such in the police formation, it might just be that he's one excellent officer that has proven himself to be distinct, maybe by way of his attitude or by way of his, attitude on the duty. So I want us to look at this, his, profile and speak to his profile. Why in February, he is supposed to retire in April. We have also suspected that he might also be a beneficiary of the after retirement service, and then you also see the likes of him being close to the, president. Let's look at all of this. What should we expect in the coming days?
No doubt he has a brilliant profile. I wouldn't know if he joined the police service at a older age.
ASP?
Because if he was still commissioner as of 2023, that speaks volume. So that's the thing that I'm talking about. I have people who are in their 40s who are close to the rank of commissioners now. And there are also people close to their 60s who are also in the same rank. But he must have joined the police service at a older age.
1992.
That's
and trust me, I didn't want to take much of your time. He graduated from the university in 1989, a postgraduate diploma in public relations in Lagos University. He had a certificate in personnel protection in the United Kingdom. He holds masters in public administration at Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba, Ondo State, and another criminology, security, and legal psychology from the Lagos State University in 2020. So it was growing and was building himself.
Definitely. But, he has a brilliant profile. But I've spoken to that earlier. That is his capacity. But it's not an automatic thing that he will perform well in office when there are already administrative bottlenecks that he has to contend with. Do you understand? For instance, as regards the welfare of the police, it doesn't have a sole say in it. It is the Police Service Commission, which is headed by a chairman who most often a retired IG himself that will be his superior while he was in service. So will he dictate to such an individual? So these are issues that he has to contend with. In terms of, professionalism, you could try to bring that on board. But I've told you the factors that have been militating against the professionalism of the Nigerian police. And these factors, it cannot undo solely. Some of them are subject to constitutional amendment. Some are at the discretion of the president. Whether or not the president will help him by removing the 2 ministers of police and scrapping the Ministry of Police Affairs, the president can do that.
But who is going to propose that? Has anyone proposed that?
I'm sure people have proposed it. At least I've spoken to it personally countless times. So whether on the issue of proposal, that is not a hit. But the thing is, when those factors are there, there's a limit to what he can do. Irrespective of the profile, no matter how brilliant the profile may appear to be.
There's a couple of things that people are looking at now. First and foremost, they'll be looking at how we can change the public perception in view of what has happened with Egbetokun. Remember, there was controversies with the previous man who's now left, handed over to him. Also, there is going to be that test for immediate wins. How does it get by with that, with what we have on ground? How do you think he can get by with that?
That is already getting by with, because his appointment within the ranks and file was a welcome development.
Well, do people trust that rank and file?
They don't have to trust them because Nigerians' experience, or let me say it this way, police-citizens relationship is not cordial as we speak. Because prior to FIS, it has even improved post-ENSAS. But prior to ENSAS, it was nothing to write home about. But of recent, there has been some development too, which is making it to nosedive again. So it is that which you cannot pin on him. He's fully aware of that. Now, how far is he able to now work on it to give that confidence? For instance, people that travel to the East weekly basis would want to see the number of checkpoints reduced. Because what goes on is not combating crime, neither is it security check, but simply exploitation. And they are not comfortable with it. Because you have, so we have this much personnel that can be deployed on our roads, but in the north, they are missing. Is that the only place where, is only the South Nigeria, or is the Nigerian police meant for the southern part alone? So these are issues that some people want to see. And it's part of what has been spoken to since his appointment. The last time I went to Onitsha, from between Chagam interchange to Benin bypass, not even Onitsha, to Benin bypass, I counted more than 28 checkpoints.
Did you say 28?
Yes.
What's responsible for that?
They are the ones in the best position to answer them, because I wondered myself. So when you have that in place, those who move on that road, and don't forget, we're talking about a region that is having challenge with the issue of integration with the rest of the country. And then you still treat their people in that manner. They want to see an IGP that would do something about that. Maybe reduce it to something around 5.
You
can't say they should remove everything completely.
Don't you think that that whole idea is to safeguard the road? Possibly, you also recall that in the past, that road, I don't know if it's still like that, the road was in a dilapidated state, 1. Then 2, the security around that place is quite porous, or was porous. I don't know about now. I've also, been through that road before. So one would have thought that this might be the reasons why there's a build-up of security to safeguard lives. But before you respond to that, let's go on this commercial break. When we come back, of course, Mr. Badejoko will respond to that. Stay with us, don't go away.
All right, everyone, open your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange this house to give una small wisdom. Sounds mighty fresh now, but I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smell no reach. Make una think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Protect every day with Hypo.
Stains and dust don't go on break.
So whiten your whites with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
Welcome back. It's still AM 120 on the Broadcasting Corporation over your state. And we still have in our studio Mr. Adesumbo Badejoko, who is a social commentator. Thank you for staying tuned. All right, before we went on that break, and I was asking, way back, the road used to be very bad. And of course, that much checkpoint seemed to have increased, but it might just be that they're trying to build before security. Okay.
That Shagamu to Benin is almost about the same distance from Iwo Road to Akure.
That's about 3 hours journey.
So it's not because of the condition of the road. Okay. How come we do not have much that much police checkpoints in these other houses.
There'll be
Of
problem.
about equal distance.
You know, people will complain. You know, the Southwesterners would.
Oh, the people over there are even the one that complains the most.
And why?
But I
How
tell
come
you
there's
the
nothing
reason.
being done?
That is a trade route.
Okay.
Aba, Hariara market, Onitsha market, people go there to convey goods to Lagos. That's the reason why these guys are there.
So have we not thought about having free trade zone seaports where their goods could be transported? At least I'm sure that there won't be police checkpoints on the waters.
And
There will be that
when you say
much.
seaports, we are speaking to import and export. Like, there are other politics behind that.
What kind of politics?
It's best known to the cabal that controls the Nigerian
So-
Port Authority.
So there's another cabal for that sector.
It's an aberration. I don't know why we'll have about 700-kilometer coastal line, and we only have one functional port along that axis. Okay, let's say if you want to have the Ekpe one now, I mean the Lekki deep sea port, that makes it 2. Do you understand? Along a stretch of 700 kilometers. So it's an aberration. We're supposed to, we used to have inland ports. Onitsha was an inland port. Lokoja was an inland port.
Can't we revive all of this?
So when you have them not functioning, rendered moribund, then there's a problem.
Because you even look at the risk of people traveling by road.
Yes. Even rail is supposed to soften the burden on the road. But we are yet to have a east-west rail line.
Why?
Negligence, politics, and misplacement of priorities. Because when you say, that's why when I hear politicians talking about they need to grow the economy, and I see moves that they are making, I just laugh. That's, you have not created economic zone. You must first of all designate areas as economic zone. Then you create a network of connection between the economic zone. You create a power grid network for those zones. But we have everything centralized, and you want development. It's not going to happen overnight.
Okay, let's quickly look at the role of corruption and lack of trust in the Nigerian police force. We've seen allegation of bribery, allegation of extortion, allegation of human rights abuses, which has created a negative image with many citizens viewing the police as adversaries rather than protectors. Let's look at that part of the issue.
That's an age-long practice of the police. And unfortunately, you only have that happening to the masses, which means that what? The police only protect the rich, the elite, the ruling class, and they oppress the rest of us.
That's an allegation.
It's what is obvious. What is obvious?
Are they in the rich class in the first
You
instance?
see a young guy doing his legit job driving, he will be stopped. Because somebody else is driving behind him with a tinted vehicle, masked plate numbers, that is automatic elite. They will wave the person by. So when you want crime, what if a kidnapped victim is in that vehicle? You shouldn't be selecting vehicles to stop on
Okay,
the road.
let me give you an
You
instance.
shouldn't be just saluting some and now threatening to shoot the tires of another. It's not right.
I recall there was a former CP in Lagos State who said he usually leaves home for the office early many times. And on this particular day, he didn't use his driver. He had his vehicle tinted and left. It was not the police vehicle. It was his personal car. And he left his house and got to, I think, Yaba area. And he was stopped by a police officer who was on the checkpoint. And having stopped him, he insisted that, he was asking him questions. And he said, "Who are you? Show me your identity." And the police officer, got angry and said, "I'm going to drag you to the police station." Not knowing that I was his boss, the CP of Lagos State. And he moved him from that place, dragged him to the station. And guess what? He got there and said he was going to detain him. He told him to move behind. And the guy, when he got there, the CP, parked in the space of the DPO. And he said, "How dare you park in my, boss's space?" And the man came down and entered the counter, and they started dragging, and he said, I requested for your ID card. Show me your ID card to show that you're a police officer. That's all I'm asking for, and I will respond to every question that you bring to me. And he said no, and before he knew it, he went in to call in another police officer, a senior one at that. And while they were still dragging the issue, one came and peeped and saw that it was a CP. That one knew that it was a CP, and that one went through the window and disappeared. And before they knew it, it became a major issue among them. Somebody eventually told them that that was the Commissioner of Police for Lagos State, and they scampered off for safety. Of course, they eventually got those guys, threw them, behind bars. Now, the point is, it happens to be, if you look at the status, more of the elite. Yes, a senior police officer. But that's to tell us that it's not all the time that the police focuses on the rich or the less privileged. They also challenge them.
From the story, what he did, if it had been an ordinary elite, you can imagine what would have happened to him. Suppose it wasn't the CP and he got there. Those that fled would have joined the ranks to dealing with him instead of producing identity card.
That's part of orientation and reorientation.
So these are things that happens. It is even an indictment. And the question now we will ask is, with that singular incident and experience, first-hand experience the CP had, what did he do about them? In civilized society, you don't need to request for the identity card of a police officer. It's already hanging on his chest. So you don't need to request for it. Why are they hiding their hood? Do you understand? Ikolaba here, right in front of the former Justice House. I just saw this female police officer, sergeant. You need to see the appearance, the words that were coming out of her mouth. You will know that this one is definitely acting under the influence of a hard substance.
Female.
Female. Her only concern is the 200 naira she wants to collect from the commercial micro vehicles. And those ones that are trying to say, but we have been passing here every day. If she doesn't, she would ground the vehicle there until the person passed with the 200 naira. And I was just there looking, observing and looking at, if a female is behaving like this, then something is definitely wrong with us. So these are things. Now imagine a civil person with that kind of a woman requesting for identity card with the colleagues carrying gun. Maybe I should just tell you my own personal. I went to buy a generator set sometimes at Agbeni. And on my way back, despite the fact that I had receipts, when we got to the front of the prison yard, that junction, at gate there, the vehicle was stopped. And they asked to open the boot. The boot was open. What was this? Generating set. Who owns it? I am. Okay, can they have the receipts? I brought it out. What is the next thing that's supposed to be done? Allow me to go. One idiot from there just came out.
Sorry, can you retract the idiot?
Okay, apologies. Just came with the rifle. The one ordered me, cocked the gun, ordered me to put that generating set on my head.
Excuse me?
That was what I experienced.
And you did?
Do I have a choice?
Oh.
Someone is holding gun, obviously drunk, want me to be killed.
So what did you do when you carried it on your head?
I satisfied this massage his ego by doing that. And then he said I should drop it that he knew I was not going to part with any money. I don't even have. All I have left has been given to the driver. So after waiting there, I put the thing down on his orders. And I was waiting. Then, furiously, he just walked away and said, I should carry my useless thing and go away. So when you see that happen, and this is real life, I'm the one that experienced it. We've had a case of the one that was traveling. Just a simple question. The next thing was, pow. And the man died. So these are things that people had experienced. And it's not, it didn't start under Egbetokun. It's an age-long thing. So, how much of solving can this do about those kind of attitude?
But he's promised that he's going to work on solving
Does he have the time?
impunity.
Does he
He might have the time. He might be a
Might
beneficiary
have a
of
plan.
this.
Might have a plan.
Of this new
When the likes of
policy.
Showore are already saying that should he be confirmed,
Did Showore not speak
and
during
after
time?
his retirement, they would start tagging him as an illegal IGP.
No,
Like that law is not recognized.
Was Egbetokun not tagged?
Yeah, but-
Did he not spend 2 years
but
extra?
when you keep having distractions, you understand, on your legitimacy in office, then you won't be able to focus.
That's an
Okay,
assumption.
what's the first thing that Nigerians should focus on from the new appointee?
Nigerians have their expectation. You understand? I've told you some. The harassment should go down. Let every officer put their, not just the tag, the name tag, put their ID on their
So
chest.
some even don't put the name tag.
You understand? Let them put, then withdraw AK-47 from those that are on the road. It's giving them some psychological imbalance. That gun, withdrew it. Let it be carried only by the tactical
So
force.
many police officers will be beating blue-black.
Many
No,
of
they
these
won't.
things.
There's still this degree of respect that Nigerians have for that uniform.
But then let's
they
talk
will
about
not beat them
let's talk about
because they know that if they touch them, they will be in trouble.
No,
Nigerians are not that uncivilized. We are
maybe
civil
we need
people.
to go all the way back to their training colleges. The trainings that they receive, psychological evaluation before they are passed on into service. Let's talk about emotional intelligence, because I think a lot of our uniformed officers actually need to do a lot more when it comes to emotional intelligence, being able to read the atmosphere, read the room, and everything as we wrap up with you.
Well, how are they recruited into that training camp in the first place? It's a security service. It should be more of IQ tests as a precondition to being recruited. But what do you have? They just submit lists. Some are not even interested. You can imagine people from the north claiming to be Lagosians. It was a penultimate recruitment, not this current one.
Well, they can
And
say
they were
that.
carrying local government identification of Lagos. You understand? Because there's an agenda that is meant for them to populate the service and begin to constitute nuisance, which they are doing.
All
So
right.
these are things. If we want to, there are immediate reforms that the IGP can do. Going forward, let's make recommendation.
Okay, let's do that quickly.
He can decide to redeploy every officer back to their local government of origin.
Okay.
The claims on place, you should be able to do well amongst your people. You will discover that all of a sudden the north will now become heavily populated with officers and the south will be scanty.
Well, let's give it a shot.
You understand? And let's now see whether we would have this insurgency at the rate as we are having it. He can do that with his own initiative. It's a model that he can have if we cannot wait for state police.
All right.
We should
So
do
that
that
would
in
be
the
localization
we should do that
of
in
the police force.
we should do that in the immediate.
Exactly. That can be done. It's just